Hey everyone, welcome to Fast Forward, the podcast about real conversations, not highlight reels. We explore the people behind the work, what drives them, and how they grow. Today, I'm joined by Nicolette Miller, the founder of Strykur Content and a specialist in brand messaging, storytelling, and values driven content strategy. Nicolette, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing so good. Glad to have you on.
Yeah, thank
It's
you so much for
uh
having me. This is awesome.
It's a pleasure to get this going with you. We kind of want to start the conversation talking about your origin story with Stryker content and kind of how it came to fruition and maybe how it's changed since you began and some of those challenges and wins that you've had.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm sure most writers say this, but I've just always loved writing. It's been a huge passion of mine since I was little. It's funny, even like today, I won't give like a store-bought like Christmas card or holiday card or birthday card to family or friends. Like everything is always handwritten. I like just how I am. I feel like it means a lot more. It's very personal. And so that's kind of how I took that into a career, I guess you could say. I started kind of just helping out in my dad's office. He's a realtor back in Reading, Pennsylvania, and he just kind of needed help in his marketing department doing, kind of really basic tasks, but it was my first exposure to marketing. And then kind of as I continued to like write, I was writing for like local magazines. I was like kind of just doing any sort of fun writing I could think of, and anyone who would let me. I just kind of, once I went to school for communications, I was like, that sounds like it all ties
Yeah.
into what I want to do, and just kind of led me to a career where I blended the two a bit and just kept rolling with marketing, kept rolling with writing, and yeah, so I got my first job actually at an in-house marketing for a national office furniture company. So it was just me and one other guy, the director of marketing, doing kind of literally everything. So like we were designing billboards, we were designing ads, we were writing scripts for videos, I was doing our blogs, we were managing our website. So I got like an exposure to like everything, which was so awesome. But it kind of just made me even more and more like affirmed the fact that like I just loved writing. That's what I wanted to focus on. I was not trying to design. I was not a graphic designer. I didn't want to be. So then I actually wanted to move to the agency side because I was like, maybe then I can just focus on my writing, but then work with a bunch of different clients instead of the same brand over and over. The only problem was, of course, at that point, like they're like, you need agency experience to join our agency. And I was like, well, that feels like catch 22. But eventually, one agency did take a gamble on me, hired me as a content strategist. It was a new role. So I think they were kind of pretty open to who filled it, honestly. Yeah, so I got to work. They were specifically in the housing industry, which also kind of helped me just having the real estate background. And so all of our
Hmm.
clients were across the country, home builders, there were some real estate agents, developers, things like that, and helping them with their marketing. So I had to focus a little bit more on content there, but a lot of it was like social strategy, which is fun. I enjoy and I still do today, but I was like, I just want to write. So any chance I got to help our senior copywriter write like a blog for some of these home builders or whatever, I like jumped on. And ironically, like a lot of the times the clients would then like start asking for me, which was also like just awesome. But I think a lot of it, it kind of was a realization for me because at the time, just because our agency was so niche and we were working with the same type of clients all the time, they got very complacent in their writing. They would kind of,
Mm.
repurpose blogs for this different clients. And I was like, I don't love that. So I was, eager to like write these blogs that were unique, that they were, very specific to this, like the builder we were working with. And honestly, I got some slack for it because I would take longer than the senior copywriter to write these. And they're just kind of like, you need to get faster. Otherwise, like, we're not making money off of these. And I'm just like, I don't love that. Like, I'm like, we're just being like, I don't know. So anyway, that was kind of in the back of my mind a lot. And I kind of always had this idea that one day I would start my own business. In that sense, I could like control, the type of quality and like, the output I was providing and just, I don't know, not have anyone tell me like to work faster or, do it, take the shortcut or whatever it may be just for profit's sake. And so yeah, when I had the opportunity, I felt kind of at a point in my life where I had my family support and everything. And they're just like, if you want to take a leap, go for it. So I did. And that's when I started Stryker Content.
So you took all the experiences you had and blended them into what you think of now as the perfect complement of everything that you do at Stryker Content.
Yeah. And it was very scary. I won't lie. And I will also be honest that I took quite a hit that year in terms of my income.
Yeah.
But I just kinda started reaching out to anyone who I'd worked with in the past, like, just with, like, a random
Yeah.
blog or an article or here, there, and just kinda was like, "Hey, I have tons more bandwidth. If you need more help, I'm available." I started cold emailing agencies all
Mm,
throughout the area, just kinda seeing, like, creative agencies, full service agencies being like, I had a catchy subject line and all like, a nice little elevator pitch all printed out or all, written out.
yeah.
I'll never forget my subject line was like, "The content writer you didn't know you needed." Thought it was so clever.
Nice.
I had a ton of people that didn't answer, and then I just had a couple that did, and it all kinda came down to timing for a lot of them. Some of these agencies were just like, "Hey, like, I noticed" the one I'll never forget, still a great client of mine, I've been working with them for 8 years now. They said to me, they're just like, "We actually have a sports complex that we're redoing their entire website. And we saw that you have like, you're an athlete, you have a background in sports. Like, we love that we can tell them that we have a writer that's specifically a sports writer. She knows her sports. She knows like the difference between a field goal and, a foul shot. And they're like, "Are you cool with helping us out?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." And ironically, it was actually a sports complex I grew up going to. So I was very familiar with it. It worked out really well and kind of just things grew from there. And honestly, by the
Mm,
second year, I had doubled, the income I was making at the agency. So it was pretty awesome. I feel very fortunate.
that's really cool. What sport did you play?
I played a lot of sports, but I in college
Like, what was your sport?
I played soccer and ran track. So those are my two.
Nice.
Yeah, but I'd say
I also
soccer
played
is my
soccer.
what?
I also played soccer.
Yeah.
I didn't play in college, but I played competitively until senior year of
What
high school.
position?
Yeah. Right back.
Okay, defense, I
Yeah,
love it.
defense. I
Yeah.
love getting in the mind of the opponent and really just, like, frustrating them
Yeah,
to a degree. Like, that's such a gratifying feeling.
there's nothing better than that, I totally get it.
What'd you play?
Well, I played Strykur, hence the name, Strykur Content.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's spelled differently, though.
it is. So I added the Y, I loved how the STY kinda gave you the illusion of story because 'cause I'm a storyteller, and then, I changed
Mm.
the E to a U because, as corny as it may be, I want, my clients to feel that this is about them, this is,
Wow.
so, I gave it
That
some
is
thought.
some deep stuff.
Yeah.
I like that.
Also, like, not so deep, my childhood dog was named Stryker, again, because of soccer.
Oh,
So and I don't know, he was the best dog in the world, so anyway, that's
I love
that's
that.
the story of the name.
That's great. Yeah, I wouldn't have put 2 and 2 together, but, that's cool that the origin is actually, from your sports.
Yep.
Very cool.
I honestly think that, of course, helped me, like, start a business, just I'm very
Yeah.
competitive, I'm very, self-driven, disciplined, so I don't know, kind of it worked well in, helping me get to where I am, so.
Right. And when you were going through the beginning stages of creating your own business and reaching out to some clients you may have done work for in the past, what were some of the motives to keep going and keep trusting the process? Like, it's not always easy getting past that first stage. And like you said, you took a hit in income for a year or so. Like you were, it's easy to question yourself in that situation. Is there any mentality or philosophy that you may have utilized for your growth, early on?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think a lot of it has to do with, my background in sports. I just, you got to keep pushing on. You're going to take hits. You're going to, go backwards, sometimes more than you go forwards. But if you're really like determined and you really want to do it, you just got to you can't let that stuff kind of like, really weigh you down. You got to take each rejection with, as a learning lesson and, kind of I was getting a lot of feedback too, like what, kind of asking, is it a timing thing? Is it just like, is it something, I could have,
Mm,
something you're looking for more in terms of what would bring value to you, like what you're looking
mm,
for in a writer specifically. Um, and then also I think just I feel very fortunate. I had a great support system. My family never let me feel like, if this all didn't work out, that I'd be
yeah.
totally out of luck. I felt, I could make a leap confidently in that, whatever happens, I could get back on my feet eventually,
Mm.
whether it was doing what I wanted to do or not, I would be okay.
Right. Okay. So you were, yeah, you had the ability to kind of take a risk without feeling too much pressure about this, if this has to work or else I'm going to be on the streets or something like
Yeah,
that. It wasn't
exactly.
that dire,
Yeah.
but it still takes a lot of strength mentally to jump through those hurdles and frankly to ask for feedback from customers or potential clients that said may have said no or we're not ready to take that leap with you yet, and then use it as a constructive way to continue moving forward.
Yeah, because I think at that point too, it's like I felt confident in the amount of experience I had and kind of the knowledge and like, expertise I could bring to clients, but I still was fairly early, I guess, in my career, you can
Yeah.
say. So it is easy to kind of have self-doubt, especially when, you do get a rejection. It's kind of like, well, why would they hire me? Who am I? You know what I mean? And it's just kind of,
Yeah,
you know,
imposter syndrome,
exactly, exactly. But just kind of like trusting in, what you do know and what you are good at and kind of, really leaning into it, I guess is kind of the best way to word it.
for sure. And Nicolette and I met at a networking event, so I can say I've seen this in first person, experience, and
Thanks.
both of us there.
I've gotten better at it recently. I've done a lot more because I think
Yeah?
that's what's been wonderful about my business too, is honestly for several years it's been referrals. A lot of my new business, I haven't had to like actively go out and seek myself, which is another incredible blessing. It's been, word of mouth, and that's great. But, kind of now that I moved from Pennsylvania down to Dallas, I was like, I would love to actually have some clients down here, more FaceTime. I'm all about, meeting with people in person and kind of having that type of relationship. So I was like, I got to start doing my own self promotion. And again, the imposter syndrome kind of came in because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm not a salesperson. I'm just not, and so I've really kinda had to get in a groove with having these conversations and, walking up to random people like you and having, chatting it up, and it's been great. It's been really fun too.
Yeah, it's good for me too. I'm not the most salesy guy either, but I do like to help businesses, and I feel like I can with my skill set, and I feel like if you can go into a situation knowing that part at least, like your intentions are to actually help them, which they are, of course, then you don't have to feel like you're just, trying to take their money, so to speak. I'm here to help you in reality.
Honestly, and I think those conversations are so important. Like, I think the first conversation you do have with someone that, like, you might, really wanna work with isn't about you at all. Like, it's about learning about them, what their goals are, what they like to do, just kind of, like, finding common interests, and I mean, I
Mhm.
guess you can coin it, like, pre-suading. You're basically kind of just, like, really making them feel comfortable with you and positioning yourself as someone they'd wanna work with, someone they just wanna know, even if, like and even if you can't help them with your actual, like, skill set, like, for me, like, writing, it's like, who can I connect you with that might be a benefit
Mhm.
for you? Like, okay, you need a new website, it's like or, I actually know some developers, should I put you in touch with them? You know what I mean? Making them feel like you actually care about, what they're trying to do and not just like, how can I wedge myself into it?
Yeah, essentially you're building a network on top of situations that may or may not come to fruition immediately, but your relational reach has grown exponentially because of this, and your reliability and your ability to provide certain resources that you may have access to that they didn't.
Exactly. Yep, yep.
So with writing though, that's a very specific thing. I imagine that's not always the easiest thing to convince clients they need, even if they do. How do you go about that part? I'm not saying it is necessary and you're skilled at what you do, but I'm just curious how you work through that specific like hurdle.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly used to be a lot easier because you just have
Did
people
it?
that don't like writing. They don't wanna do it, they don't care for it. They're like they admit, "I'm not good at it, so can you do it?" So I think a lot of my, like, early career was the execution part. It was just writing. People were like, "I need blogs. I wanna start, posting on LinkedIn and, sharing thought leadership articles. I wanna start, you know, our website just doesn't sound good. Can you fix it?" But now you have AI here here comes
Right.
robots that wanna, write everything for us, and so you have a lot of brands and businesses that are kinda like, "Alright, well, I could save a buck or 2 if I just, get my
Mm,
teams to start throw in stuff into ChatGPT and, we'll just write stuff that way. And honestly, I think, I'd say probably like last year, that was a very common trend. You'd see a lot of people kind of trying to take things in house writing wise. And now things are coming back around a little bit. I think
I can see that.
it's become very obvious that I like to say your brand voice is your biggest differentiator now. I mean, anyone can create content if you want, but it's kind of what's going to set what you're saying apart from everyone else, what makes it unique to you, what makes it sound like you. I think there's so much generic stuff out there now that it's very easy to be glossed over. It's also there's more stuff out there than ever before because everyone is writing, whether they should be or not.
That's also true.
And so it's kind of what is really gonna make your content stand out.
Mm,
And a lot of it, obviously, of course, it's what you say, but now a lot of it's how you say it. And there's so many AI tells that really turn people off. And
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I think it's also, really made strategy more important than ever. I mean, obviously strategy's always been a huge part of any marketing plan, but now it's like, all right, especially for messaging, I think people kind of overlook that that needs a strategy too, not just kind of like where you're showing up, but in the ways you're speaking to your customers, like really understanding what, their pains are, what their needs are, and like what's going to resonate with them directly. So that's all research that needs to be done before you throw anything into ChatGPT. So
right. Because you can still utilize it, but
absolutely.
it's you if you're not doing that and you're just kind of hoping that it provides the copy that you're looking for with a pretty generic description for what you need, you're gonna get the average of what's already out there,
Mhm.
essentially, like, takes in all of the information that it has, and it produces what it ends up being around the average of what exists. So, a lot of it's just regurgitated information already anyway. So, it's not hyper specific to what they're trying to do, so you really have to be more focused now than ever because it's really easy to get lost in that because, like, at first glance, it looks good, right? But it's missing the key ingredients that kind of resemble or encompass everything that represents your business.
Yeah, and the human element in general. And I mean, I very much encourage, clients and people I speak with to use AI. I mean, I think it's really great for, coming up with topics, really starting, research, kind of really getting organized. I know I use it a lot to really kind of frame out, you know, action items that I want to tackle for a certain client, or I kind of, really dive into this is what the client's all about, kind of where do I start? It really kind of gets rid of the whole blank canvas, fear, and that causes like paralyzation sometimes for people.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's like if you have, one sales guy using ChatGPT and another sales guy using ChatGPT and they're just going at it in their own way, you're gonna have totally different messages coming out
Yeah,
of it. So
for
not
sure.
only do you not have inconsistency, but then also ChatGPT and other AI platforms, they really learn the person that's using it. So even though that can be a positive, I guess if you're, doing your own thing, it's just like, okay, it gets me. If it gets salesman A and salesman B, they're not gonna align for the same message
Mm,
for the business overall. So everything's going to be kind of across the board inconsistent, and
mm.
then you don't know what, your clients are hearing and, what the message they're getting is. So I know for, kind of how I help with that is
Yeah, I was just gonna ask because where do you come in on that? Because that's a very specific thing.
yeah. So honestly, one of my main offerings now is I call it a brand messaging playbook. So really it's kind of, I mean, I can either start with a content audit that really kind of dives deep into like the things you're doing now, kind of where there might be gaps where like one person is speaking differently. Like does your site say something different than you're sending out in your emails, like things like that. And then really kind of
Okay.
doing the research into your ICPs, your ideal customers, your market in general, the zeitgeist, kind of things going on that really play into how you should be speaking to your customers. Because I think
Mm,
too, a lot of businesses, like internal teams and founders specifically, like they're too in the weeds of their own business and their everyday language and how they speak to each other to kind of
right.
realize that doesn't always translate to the people outside of their business and specifically their customers. So sometimes it's like you might have like, okay, this is what we need to be saying. It might not be right. You need to do the work, the research ahead of time to really understand like what those people you're talking to want to hear and will
Yeah.
resonate with and really understand. So anyway, then I kind of build out this messaging playbook that kind of factors in all that strategy and research into key talking points, your value proposition, your audience profiles, and I can also provide like AI prompt guides. So kind of
That's what I was gonna say.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's how it ties into AI. If you, want to just take it in house then and roll with this playbook and use it for your internal teams, then I can build out prompts for them specifically based on all this research that helps them input exactly what they need to in, either Gemini or ChatGPT, and it'll kind of give them the outputs they want. And then I very much also encourage them to tweak. Like nothing's just like, all right, I put it in,
Right.
it's out, like, let's send it, you still need that human element.
Baseline.
Yeah, absolutely, but it saves it obviously a ton of time, so and gets everyone consistent, which is really important.
Yeah, because you could end up being actually even more useful for companies in this light
Yeah,
because you now have an ability to truly grasp what the messaging is as a company as a whole. Like, it's not just, "Here it is," "Do your best to follow the guidelines." Now you're providing something that they can utilize on their day-to-day.
Yeah. And I like to emphasize it's a living document, like, this is not like, "Okay, it's done, here it is, like, put it on
Yeah.
your shelf." It very much has to evolve as your business evolves. I mean, AI is changing things every single day, so it's not like a once and done. It just really tackles a lot of that, like, super important upfront work that needs to be done before anyone can touch it moving forward, because that includes vendors too. It's not only internal teams, but if you bring on a marketing agency or you bring on someone to, do your email outreach or whatever it is, like, they have to understand all this stuff too, and it just eliminates so much back and forth and so much, like, time that these businesses just don't have to waste on, constantly checking and double checking.
Right. Yeah, it's a definitely a changing field in writing because of how influential it's become for businesses and people in their daily lives. For me, I use it a lot for writing to give me the foundation to take any idea that I've had and put it through something, run it through some concepts, and then I can come out and feel better about it afterward. But I also like just writing on paper,
Yeah,
like
me
it
too.
feels good.
It does. It's nice
Like,
to put
I've always liked
screen
it, like,
for once.
even before,
Yeah.
but now it's something that, I don't know, I make a point of it, and I realize that I actually think my best on paper
Yeah.
still because there's just no distractions, and it's something about the pencil and paper that truly
It allows your mind to just go to a different place, I think, that, it
accesses things that you wouldn't have otherwise, maybe?
yeah, I think we just kinda get so we're on screens so much that it kinda just numbs our mind a little bit instead of,
Yeah.
really, giving it, you know, I don't know, getting it to where it needs to be. So, it's nice to step away for sure.
For sure, and I bring it up to ask you, like, your job is actually very creative, in a different sense. You're like, you'll be an author one day. Wait, didn't you mention to me something about a kid's book or
I
something?
did. I am in the process of
Yes,
writing a kids ideally a
let's hear about
series
that.
if I mean, God willing, it will be actually a series, so more than one, but
That's right, that's
yeah,
right, that's right,
starting
yeah.
one at a time here. So, yeah. I mean, it's same idea. I like even in marketing, you we as a writer, I'm a storyteller. That's just what
Yeah,
I am, and I think that's what I love so much about it is the creative element of it, and being able
yeah,
to, really think about, like, what is gonna set my, clients apart, what makes them special, what, like, will make people care, like, and I don't know, I think the same I'm gonna kinda translate into children's books, I hope. I have a 7-year-old niece and a 4-year-old nephew who I, like, love to death, and just through reading with them and learning from them, it's just kind of I don't know, the child imagination is just something I wish more marketers had, including myself. I just, like, wish we could get back, and I just see them but I also see them when they have a screen in front of them, and it's like they are 2 totally different people, and I just think the
mm,
value of having, like you said, just, like, a piece of paper in front of you with words,
tactile.
like, an actual hard copy of a book and just, like, letting their mind wander. I don't know, it's really awesome, and so I'm kinda trying to bring, that authenticity to fiction space, I guess, and see how it goes. So I'm really excited, but it's definitely a new venture for me for sure.
Yeah, it's something that we should definitely try to harness as a society, the ability to remain attached to what already has existed in our lives forever. And, we are biological creatures at the end of the day. So, we can't get too far away from that or else, you risk losing, a part of yourself that's always been there.
Yeah,
So you got to be careful.
definitely. Very true.
So how do you okay, so do you have any uh, like hacks for getting into that creative process if you find yourself in a rut or anything that you go back to or do you always have it's always there for you, it's there in droves, you have creativity just spewing out.
It's just yeah, it's magic. No. No, honestly, I like to learn from other people. I read a lot. I am constantly even just if I'm on, like, LinkedIn or something, just kinda seeing, like, what are other people putting out there? What are people, in my space or in my client's space, what are they saying? And, like, who's reacting to it, and how are they reacting to it? And just getting inspiration from other people that, might be either not even necessarily more experienced, but just doing things differently or trying different things, and I mean, there's so much content out there, so it is a lot to filter through, but I think if you really kind of prioritize, the people that are doing it really well and kind of staying true to that authenticity and you can tell are not using straight up ChatGPT copy and pasting, it's just you'll find some really cool stuff and you can really just kind of, think of ways to make it even better or just, make it your
Mm,
own or make it special. So
hmm.
that's kind of the route I usually take.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in terms of the actual art itself of creating, of writing, of storytelling, do you, like, get into, like, a certain, like, mindset before you do it? Are you, like, turning music on? Are you, like, in a
Oh.
certain room? Do you or do you're just kind of able to do it wherever
I
you
actually
want?
no, honestly, yeah, I have to kinda keep switching up my environment. I can't, like, stay
Yeah?
in one place for too long, otherwise it gets yeah, I get kind of, like, in a funk. I listen to a lot of classical music when I write. I like
Classical.
something very, like again, I think it's just going back to, like, traditional feeling like, I don't know, everything's just so overstimulating and just, like, loud and
So,
obnoxious
like,
and
going
yeah,
backwards.
I
Gotcha.
just like I wanna keep things simple so that my mind can, like, focus on, what it needs to and just kind of I don't know. It just or I'll go for a walk. Sometimes I just go for a walk and I'm kinda just like I don't bring my phone. I'm like, "You're not coming with me." I just wanna, like, observe things
I
around
do
me.
that too, actually.
Yeah, and it's funny too because while you do that, you look around and everyone's staring at their phones while they walk there,
I'm
and I'm
also
just
that
like,
person.
"Ah, that's me though, that was me." Like, I'm working on it, and I honestly think that that's kinda where some cool ideas come in because you're just like, I don't know, you're just motivated by
You're detached.
yeah, detached, that's a great word, right.
You allow yourself that time and quiet and being quiet. I mean, listening to what's out there in the world, other sounds. You
Yeah,
know, it's something that you can kind of for me too, like, grasping energy from or just finding inspiration from the smallest of things and maybe having an interaction with someone or something that you wouldn't have had otherwise if you were distracted.
yeah, or you were looking down, it's
Happens
me
all the
too.
time.
I've been hearing a lot, and I kind of really agree with it. I think we don't allow ourselves to be bored ever.
That's it. That is everything. Number 1.
We're constantly feeling like even just
Stimulation is 100% of our day every day.
yeah, we can't like, if we have a split second to ourselves, we check our phones. If like we're just kind of by ourselves, we have to put on music. We have to fill kind of the space with something. And it's just, I don't know. I think we kind of lose opportunities to just, like you said, really detach. And I think then you kind of
Mhm.
just, your mind wanders to places it wouldn't otherwise. And you also have conversations with people you wouldn't otherwise. And it's really cool to what comes out of it most of the time. So,
Yeah. Another reason why I love sports, actually.
yes.
Playing them, I mean, or watching too, if you're really invested. Playing is something that like a soccer game now, 90 minutes without any distraction. Wow,
Yeah,
what a joy that would be.
absolutely.
I don't play anymore, obviously, but
I schedule
I would.
I am pretty good at getting some pickup games on the calendar, so
Yeah?
I try to play at least once a week. Yeah, and I
Heck
agree,
yeah.
it's just something about being out there, like, I'm like, "I am not the player I used to be." I wish, so many things were different about how I play now. It's like, just getting old is not fun, but I just being on the field is like, I don't know. Again, it takes you back. I don't know, it's something about just the nostalgia going back, it's a reset. It's a nice reset that reframes your mind
Mm.
and kinda separates you from all the noise that's out there.
Yeah, I fill that void with, like, fitness these days, running, but I turn music on, right, but that's it,
Yeah.
and I'm still just running, and there's nothing more freeing just than just having the ability to walk out your front door and just go as long as you want, as long as you can.
Yeah, and also just having an appreciation for that, like, how awesome that you get to just I don't know,
Exactly.
body is
I'm
able to do
thankful
that.
every time.
Yeah, it's, like, incredible. It's something I don't know, and I think, again, when we're filling the space with just noise and things, we don't let our mind think of those, like, things, and just being grateful for certain things in our life that,
So true.
a lot of people don't have or, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's really
and oftentimes, like, if I'm in a rut or something, I'm not quite feeling like myself, I'm trying to think, like, "What am I doing wrong? What am I missing right now?" And then I'm like, "Oh, wait, I haven't run for a week."
mhm,
Like, that's it.
that's
And so I
it.
go for a 5-mile run, and I feel like myself again.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of it's like I can finally work through all of my thoughts that I've gathered from the week that previous, and I can work through them and kind of process them and come out feeling the endorphins of the run and a clear mind. And that is really a huge part for me. And I don't know if it's everyone's best case, but for me, it works.
Yeah, everyone has their thing, but I think it's true. I think a lot of times we try to, like, push through ruts and really try to force ourselves, like, to get
Yeah.
through them, and it's just that it doesn't work
No.
most of the
It'll end up
time, right?
it'll end up coming back around and you're gonna be worse off.
And you just waste more
Uh,
time than you needed to.
yeah,
Yeah, so,
no question. Okay, so how long you in business now with Stryker?
about 8 years.
8 years, that's a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
That's really cool.
It's kinda weird to think about, but it is yeah, it's been like I said, I've been very fortunate. It's been great, and
Awesome.
yeah, I love it. I love it.
Do you have any kind of 3 to 5-year plans or ideas of where you'd be if we were to fast forward?
Honestly, I would love to I was kinda touching on this with you earlier, when we did speak about very much, I feel very grateful to where I've gotten in my career, at this point, and just I would love to be able to give back a little bit more, in what I'm doing, so I'm really hoping to be able to work with more nonprofits, organizations that might not think they have the budget to hire an external marketing partner, or just kind of, never really thought about it, or just, are struggling to really get their message out and be heard, and share the values that they believe in with others, because they just can't. And getting to a point in my career where I feel very comfortable and confident in my business, I would love to help a lot of those businesses, and kind of continue what I'm doing with a lot of the wonderful brands that I work with, but also help some of the ones that might have been overlooked, just because they don't have the big budgets that other companies do. So hopefully helping some more of those businesses, hopefully having several children's books published by that point. And yeah, just kind of diversifying the type of writing I'm doing, and just the people I'm working with, and just continue to meet awesome people doing cool things, and like yourself, and just, see where it takes me.
Heck yeah. And what is the exact motivation for the nonprofits?
So I'm
Or, like, why exactly?
Yeah, so I guess I am a Christian, and I think it's just kind of part of, what I believe, and what I think God would, you know, wants for us, is to kind of help others, and just really share, our gifts with others, because, I don't know, I think that would, it makes the work even more fulfilling. Like, there's nothing
Yeah, for
more,
sure.
rewarding for me than when someone really likes, like, wow, you nailed this. Like, that's exactly what we wanted to say. Like, that's so us. And just, I think to be able to help more people feel that way, and just to feel that they're being heard and not overlooked, is just kind of, it's what it's all about. So for me,
Nice.
it's a little bit of, selfishly, just, I think I would feel, it would really feel like rewarding for me, but at the same time, I really
Mm.
hope that it brings them, just as much value, and yeah, and helps them be heard.
Yeah, it's almost like it's bigger than what would be like, a financial reward, right? Like it's more about finding alignment with others and seeing, um, your you create you're basically the creator of their vision through text.
Yeah. A lot of these organizations and stuff that, are nonprofits and stuff, they don't have that expertise. They don't have that understanding of, kind of what needs to be done marketing wise. How do they need to get their message out there? What even, like, technology should they be using? Like, what is even available? And it's just, I think so. Not only is it like a budget issue, but it's like I don't even know who I would talk to for that, because I don't even know. They don't know what they
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
It's kind of helping them help with that. And earlier in my career, it was just kind of like, how do I grow? How do I grow? How do I
Yeah.
grow? Because that's obviously, that was important. But now that, you know, I feel I'm at a place where I can kind of, help them grow and give back a little bit. And like you said, it not necessarily make it all about kind of, what's the monetary reward for me, but more so
Sure.
what would,
Yeah.
be beneficial for them.
For sure, and that it kinda gives you the ability to be as creative as you would like, and gives you, like, the runway to work through everything with them because you kind of have it's more of like a sandbox, right?
Yeah.
You have the ability to not necessarily try things, but experiment a little bit and, like, take the whole brand in the direction that it needs to go. Your word will even be even stronger there than other businesses, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's so many different organizations that are doing some really, really, really cool things, and they might just not people don't know about them, or their network's very small, and it's just kind of helping amplify it, get it out, extend their reach, and kind of get more people to hear what they have to say, know what they're doing, maybe get involved, and it's just kind of, that's what it's all about.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, this has been great.
It's been really good getting to talk to you and understanding your business at Strykur Content. Is there any places you'd like people to go to find ways to connect with you or find out more about Strykur?
Yeah, well, I have my website, strykurcontent.com, but also if you wanna just find me on LinkedIn, it's Nicolette Miller. I'd love to connect and, any way I can help other people, whether they're aspiring entrepreneurs or they're, in need of content, whatever it may be, love to just, like I said, have those conversations and see if I can connect them with anyone that might be of value to them and just, help them that way. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
And she'll be at the network events in Dallas,
Yeah,
Texas.
and look for me out in the networking scene here in Dallas.
I need to come to some more. I haven't been to one since we met actually, so
Really? Alright, yeah, we'll do
I
that.
need to get back out there
Next
again
time I plan on going to one, I'll hit you up. We can meet up.
for sure.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure, Nicolette. Really been good to get and talk to you and learn about your business, and look forward to seeing you guys grow even further as the years come along.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's been awesome. It's a great conversation, and I will talk to you soon.
For sure. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, or really anywhere you get your podcasts. And maybe you can share it with someone you know that is either interested in business, interested in founder stories, kind of hearing the behind the scenes of why people do the things that they do, and just in general, good conversation. So be sure to subscribe and follow us everywhere.